And lastly, a gift provided. Their awareness, those who practice a secret mystery, whenever they hear words spoken outside of their home, outside of their ears, shared with those who need what they can see in their own mind and fix in their own head. In other words, all of the problems of the world within this secret used by witches and sorcerers and rapists and slave owners can eliminate racism with an elimination of freedom to speak, a freedom to cook, a freedom to say the word gun, and a freedom to practice non-duality now. These aren't supporters of Black Lives Matters. These aren't the voices who will solve inequality and suffering. These are the voices and voice of a soldier warrior who disrupts those who don't want to live in emotion, self and ego, in a psychology and psychiatry of insomnia and delusion, hallucination and stimulation reward consciousness, described as a spaceship called a UFO visiting from a science fiction planet. Where an extraterrestrial traveled and abducted them and made them more powerful than a God and a creator called infinity. A God they worship but deny as a devil they explain now. Norse traditions and seafaring nations have names from barbarians. In practice, Viking, and live on ships. And return home to ports and harbors to feed their families and rest after a long voyage to kill some food in an ocean. They sail now. Yes, this is a real problem and very emotional. But during a coronavirus pandemic and nearly 4,000 videos, silence speaks louder than these words from those mental health professionals and psychiatrists and psychologists who allow sexual harassment and victims to be abused. Usually, called terrorism, when there's no option to go to a library to study differential equations, no private Seattle public library room to rent for an hour to make these videos and explain the abuse continuing and ongoing from a human who says they are not a man, a male human, and neither do they introduce themselves, their ego, their mind, their emotion, and their color and hallucination as someone who's alive and breathing instead of dead and violent and filled with duality and hatred and suffering now.